Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. It's Monday, January 27th, and this is your Hyphenate Halftime. I am your host, Randy Randall. Join me, as always, my very good, most famous host, Aaron Farley. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. Most famous. I like that.
Most of those words
most
were
famous
correct.
compared to myself.
Yes.
I'm the most famous version of myself compared to all your other co-hosts. I am the most famous.
That's how I think of you. Whenever your name pops up in my phone, it's the most famous Aaron Farley.
Wow. All right.
Just wanted to let you know that.
AKA, also known as the other guy on the Hyphenate Halftime.
Caffeinated halftime.
So yeah, maybe you could do a coffee month and it could be caffeinated halftime.
Oh my God, it'd be so good. I had one typo when I was saving a file. I think it was last week, and I left the H off of it, and it became Alf time. And I was like, ooh,
oh wow.
Or we could just have a whole month of Alf themed halftime discussions. It could just be all Alf time.
Let's be honest. I bet if you reached out to the actors from Alf,
oh my God,
you could get all of them. I bet you could get all of them.
Who's still alive? I feel like the dad's dead, right? The dad's got to be dead. Maybe the kid. I don't remember the kid. This is what the original voice of Alf. He has to still be around, right?
Oh, maybe. Dude. I mean, it's so weird thinking of that. So my friend Jeremy. Sorry, I'm looking up Alf at the same time.
Gordon Chumley. Remember that was his real name from Melmac. Right. Cats. I loved this show. I was the prime age for this show. I went as Alf for Halloween one year.
Oh, I was third grade.
Too. Oh, yeah. Good. Okay, good.
Yeah, I feel like Alf is cross-generational, multi-generational.
I tried showing my youngest the Alf cartoon. Remember that there was an Alf cartoon that was like late 80s, like very kind of like googie, almost looked like probably was like the Ren and Stimpy guy or something. It seemed very out there. And we couldn't even get through the theme song before Wilson's like, turn this off. I can't.
He's
can't
like,
watch
this is stuff.
Wait
a sec. The Fifth Element kid was in Alf.
Which Fifth Element kid? What does that mean?
Not Fifth Element. I See Dead People. What movie? No,
that wasn't him. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh my God! No, it looks. Okay, look up a photo of the Alf cast.
Oh yeah, Benji Gregory. No, the kid.
It looks exactly like him. I don't have my glasses on. Also.
Oh, that could very much it. Paul Fusco. That's the guy who created Alf and does the Alf voice.
Okay.
Max Wright. I feel like.
The daughter should probably still be
Andrea Elson. Wow. I follow. I follow an Instagram account called Bring Alf Back. That just says all things Alf.
We don't need
all the time.
I mean, all of those things, especially when you're like, oh my God, these are so good. And remember,
Alf time. This is happening.
What was the one with the robot? The girl who was the robot.
Oh yes.
It was all about having
weird kids. Small Wonder.
Small Wonder. Yeah. It was all about having someone in your house and you had to trick the neighbors, and the neighbors were always almost onto it. And then they'd get thrown off thrown off the scent.
Oh my God.
But so many shows were like that. Like even what was the one where they were all aliens?
Oh, 30 Rock from the Sun. Oh, yeah.
Third Rock from the Sun. Although 30 Rock from the Sun would be amazing. That would be an amazing, Third Rock from the Sun and 30 Rock come together.
Oh, right. Yeah. There we go.
30 Rock from the Sun.
Lemon, are you an alien? Are you French Stewart? Lemon, I need to talk to you. Did you ever see the short film Too Many Cooks from 2014?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, I think this was an Adult Swim thing. It was an 11-minute opening theme song to shows like this, but it just keeps going, keeps introducing more and more and more and more and more people. I will sit. You just Google it for yourself and anybody else out there. If you're not seeing it, Too Many Cooks. It comes up. It's on YouTube and a few places. I think it looks like it was an Adult Swim thing. It's about 11 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. And it just keeps going and go. It was one of the best distillations of this kind of era of sitcoms. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking up photos of like
Alf Cast.
Third Rock from the Sun.
There has to be an Alf podcast, right? We should have the people for whoever does the Alf podcast on here. We could have a podcast crossover.
I love it. I love that idea. But when you watch any of these, even Punky Brewster, you're watching Punky Brewster.
Alf-splaining is the Alf podcast.
Oh my God, Alf-splaining.
Alf-splaining, yeah. I will. I'll reach out to them. I need to know more about Alf-splaining.
I do want to know. I want to know actually about Alf-splaining. I want to know how. Like, is that a big enough podcast where they had to like pitch it? Like they had to pitch it to be like, guys, I've got this great idea. I love here. I mean, it would actually be a great podcast. There probably is one already, like called The Pitch or something, to hear how things were pitched, like how ridiculous things, not even just that got made, but how the first part of it was that how they got pitched. Because I feel like pitch meetings, especially back then, in the 80s must have been so. I mean, if this is the stuff that got onto TV, I want to know
all the stuff that got rejected. Didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, like what was the movie that was the full on like the white kid decided to go. He couldn't get into college, and so he applied to like.
Was starring not Timothy Hutton.
Yeah.
So it was big actor. Terrible.
Right?
Yeah.
And you watch those and you're like, there had to have been, I mean, because there's also like a lot of black actors in that movie. And there had to have been so many conversations of like.
Were there that many conversations? I feel like that's probably maybe there weren't enough conversations. If there so many people, 10 more conversations, they would have come up with the idea like we probably should not do this.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they were like, no, the conversations were like, guys, this has never been done before.
No, you know how the conversation
I don't know why. I have no idea why.
Like this. Fuck, it's a great idea. We got to call your guy. Get some more coke here.
You know how much this is going to make overseas? This is fucking
awesome. I think the answer to most of those questions is how did this get made was cocaine. Anything from the 70s through the 80s. You know, who thought this was a good idea? Like cocaine thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, but people had to watch it. Also, they were. I mean, did people watch them just because there was literally nothing else to watch? So I mean, because now there's so many things to take your mind off of anything that I think it's probably pretty hard to make a movie now. It's not a Marvel movie. I mean, I know people who are directors and pitching constantly. Well, it's not because
there's too much stuff. I think the nature of making money and distribution is probably more to blame than the lack of ideas, or you know what I mean, not enough good ideas.
Well, no, I don't think it's the ideas thing, but that's exactly what I was going to say, was that like that they're literally like, okay, the only movies that make money,
right? Yes.
It has to have a Marvel character, and also those are those are backed by a huge corporation that can lose money. So even if we break even or lose money, we have like $700 billion more just in case.
Right. Well, I don't think people really want to go to theaters on a regular basis. I think it becomes like a specialized kind of thing. Like growing up, I would go, we'd go every weekend.
Well, because there was nothing else to do.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was the main thing. Maybe I just became trained. I guess, if there was a lot, the video store was a new idea. Anyway. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do feel like I would love to do a video store podcast. Because I just really think that was like my era. If I had to really like, define my era from like kid through 20s, it was like more time spent in video stores than anything else. And then when that went away, it was really like, whoa, that was not something. It's like the roulette wheel of what media was going to die. Like, wow, video stores. Didn't think that was going to take the hit. Yeah.
Do you remember going and you just like before DVDs, so it was VHS.
Oh yeah.
and you'd go and you'd be like, oh man, we got to get there early, like during drop off time. Like a drop off, you had to drop off your movie by like
noon
4:00
or something. Okay, yeah, or by
something
okay,
like almost like checking out of a hotel, so they'd have time to clean up your room. But this is like they'd have time to like check
rewind
if you
the
rewound
videos.
it,
yeah,
and they'd charge you. Well, they charge you at the time, right? They just
kind
look
of
at
rewind.
it, and they'd be like,
oh yeah,
this is not rewound.
You could see
and
it easily.
remember, you'd either have a rewinder or you could buy just a machine that was just for rewinding. Just in case you were watching.
And it looked like a cool Corvette or like a Ferrari rewinder.
A VHS would get to the end, and then you'd have to push rewind.
Of course. Yeah, you'd have to hit stop and say, wow, that was great. You hit stop and then rewind, put it back in the case.
But you'd go, and they would only have like, 20, even of the big movies before Blockbuster, I guess, when it was a local shop, they would have like eight of the big movies.
Yeah.
And so if you weren't one of the 8 people, you just couldn't watch that movie tonight. And like, okay.
That was my whole plan.
And you go down the line.
I really wanted to watch the new Steven Seagal movie, Under Siege.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess I have to wait till next weekend. But you just wait till next weekend.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is it wasn't an on-demand media service. You really had to plot and think, but I think in so many ways, like everything else, there was that time of consideration, like, well, okay, I'm going to think about this some more. And then it goes, I wanted to watch that last week, and maybe you write it down, maybe you wouldn't. You just kind of live in your brain. And like, I think this one's going to be really good. I think I really need to watch Labyrinth for the 7th time. I think that's really it's really what I need to do right now. Cause I didn't really understand it the first, 6 times. I think of the 7th time, Labyrinth. I'm really going to get it. It's the power of a man.
The David Bowie guy. I remember walking into a friend's house, and I still remember I don't even know who it was, but I still remember where the house was in Spokane, and walking in and going, their sister was watching a movie and going, what is this? She's like, that's a movie called Labyrinth.
Oh, prepare to have your life changed forever.
No, I was just like, I don't know what this is. I didn't know about weird stuff back then. I didn't know about weird stuff until later.
It was a Jim Henson movie, It was one of the biggest pop stars of the 80s.
Yeah, but I feel like I walked in on a weird part, and I was like,
oh, there was lots of weird parts.
This is.
It's true.
I don't know what this is. And I walked out just thinking like, well, I'm never going to understand that movie. And then years later, I definitely didn't watch it when it was popular. So I watched it years later, and I was like, wait, this is a Jim Henson movie. That's exactly what it's like. This is like a Muppet movie. Like, it was okay. This is like, I like Dark Crystal.
Jareth.
I love Dark Crystal.
I don't think I saw
Dark Crystal in the theater.
Oh, okay. See, I think I was too young for that. Whenever that was shown to me, I was like, nope. I noped out of that one. I was like, I cannot watch this.
Oh, I was
this is
super
way too
scared.
Scary. Yeah.
But I loved all those elves. I definitely would be like one of those kids now that like makes their own masks. And
you'd be a LARPer?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I was way into Dark Crystal. I loved those. Did you know that those big huge things,
the Skeksis,
like
the Skeksis?
I don't know what they were called. Yeah, that I saw on the internet, a bat walking.
Oh, and it looked like that, right?
Exactly. I was like, oh my god, those big things are just
inspired by nature. Hey,
walking bats, which
was like last week's guest, Einar Selvik, but he was inspired by nature.
Yes, he was.
Did you notice this? This was the big thing. One of the big themes of the talk was, these songs he doesn't just think of them. He has to go out and commune with nature.
I love it. I loved how he talked about the, like if he had to do a song that was about like the birch trees, that he would go out and record, percussion with the birch trees or how the bark sounds, or and he would record out in situ. Called? In situ.
I think so. Sure.
I learned that's like an art. That's like an art term that I see people using a lot lately, writing like in situ.
It's like almost like in a situation, like you're in the environment.
I think it means like out of the studio, like you're in situ. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like how it sounds. In situ.
I'm going to go in situ right now.
In situ. Does that mean into the bathroom?
Yes,
it does. I have a little situation to figure out.
I'm going to figure this out in situ. I'll be back in 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, no, I was totally inspired. I mean, I had heard his music before and was really like, it's one of those things. It's like mystical. There's so much mystery to it. And even in the thought of interviewing him, I was like, ooh, like, okay, I don't want to like, put too much of a reality to it, you know what I mean? Or ground it too much. But I found that it was almost the opposite. Like talking to him opened up more questions and kind of like it deepened the mystery of it, because he really makes it in a far more interesting way than I even thought he did. I feel like I don't know. I think I imagined him like wearing a mask somewhere out in the forest, like howling at the moon. And it wasn't too far off from that. I think there was a lot of that kind of like, there was still a lot of mystery and purposeful intention. I think that's the kind of stuff with music that holds, it's this powerful, but almost minimal in some ways, or from another place and time. I just feel like there's so much intention, which is something that I think as I get older, maybe appreciate the subtlety of different forms of music, but that's something that really holds the intention of like, oh, it's like this on purpose. Like everything was meant to sound this way. These are not necessarily accidents. Yeah. These were like sounds that were fought after. Maybe it's just one gong that rings out for 5 minutes, but it's purposeful. Mm-hmm. And you kind of feel that somehow.
I loved how he talked about, what was he making the distinction between folk music and
traditional music? Yeah, because I think I was messing that up. For some reason, I guess from my American understanding of a lot of what we would call, as an American musician in an American, I think of music as like folk music, or I think it's always like world and folk or this kind of thing, like I kind of use those terms interchangeably, but I think he was careful to make those delineations as two different things, especially when it came to Norwegian music.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because he had, I think that's always an interesting question, like, because the U.S. is such a weird place. Especially, it's just, every day. It's going down the stairs into the basement somewhere.
Weird on many levels. Weird like a injured whale beaching itself. And
a little bit. Yeah. And then you're trying to push it back into the ocean. And it's like, no, I'm just going to lay here on the beach. You're not supposed to be on the beach.
Throw some more sand in my face. Like,
yeah. You're not supposed to be dying on the beach.
I think I am.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? I'm going to go ahead and light myself on fire now. I'm just a bird.
I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't know. Everybody's saying the difference, but I'm comfortable here.
I'm going to go ahead and take over Greenland too while I'm at it. Like, you can't. God. You're dying on the beach. Really is.
Wait, by the way, sure. Gulf of America. Who knew? This is what I'm finding out. This is what I'm realizing that maybe I didn't know, or maybe just nobody's asked the questions, but that the president can just rename places and then it's just a fact. I don't understand how this is what I said last week, that I don't think this is proving that the government isn't real. Like money isn't real. Like cryptocurrency just comes out and they're like, no, this is new money. And you're like, but you just made it up. They're like, wink, wink.
Isn't everything always made up?
Guess how the last money got here too. Wink, wink. You just don't remember it. But even that is like, it's now the Gulf of America. And then the New York Times just goes like, how do we deal with the fact that now this is the Gulf of America? And I'm like, wait, is it? Can we just change it back?
Yeah.
Can I make a map that says Gulf of Mexico? And they're like, no. It's the Gulf of America now.
You can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. Anybody can do whatever they want to do all the time.
Also, if I was a map maker right now, I'd be like, oh my God, thank God. This is like a reissue. It's like a reissue. It's like Led Zeppelin. It's like going downhill and they're like, we need a reissue. And like, guys, we found a new song. Like, we found a new song. We're going to sell so many
reasons to print
albums.
New maps now.
Yeah, new maps.
But my God.
Invest in maps. Invest in maps of America.
But I'm pretty sure it's spelled golf, like GOLF of America. I don't think it's spelled. I think they changed that part of it too. It's Gulf of America now.
Yeah. Can you just change it? Can you just like, no, we're calling that the American River.
Yeah.
It's not even a Gulf anymore. They're like, oh no, you can't change the Gulf part.
Yeah. I think they just,
that's the River of America.
I think it's been changed to So the Kyle, brought to you by Monster Energy Drink, is the now name of it.
Kyle. Oh my God.
There's a new hurricane brewing in Kyle. So it's stage 5, sponsored to you by Monster Energy Drink. You know, why not just make some money on naming rights for different land masses and physical, you know, things. I'm sure we're not far from brought to you by Bank of America or
Monster Energy.
Truck nuts.
Put a hurricane.
Crypto.com.
Put a hurricane in your stomach. Put the hurricane in your stomach.
We changed the name of Washington D.C. to to Dogecoin. Doug, sponsored by Dogecoin.com. It's just going to be that for the next 50 years. Why not?
I do feel like what happens with Trump is that there's all these things that you realized you just never asked the question, or just people just assume. And then they're like, nope, I'm just going to do this. And then people go, can he do that? Mm-hmm. Does it say he can do that? And people go,
yep.
Maybe. I mean, I guess we could sue him. Is that going to work?
No.
I don't know, because he can just like take people out of jail. Seems like.
Right. Yeah. The one thing I'm hoping that does happen is, you know how NASCARs, like the racing cars have just like the sponsors stickers everywhere. Yeah. If he would somehow like normalize the suit jacket with like just patches of sponsors on it, like if it just became a thing, like you had to wear like your jacket or some kind of vest, some kind of high visibility vest that just has all the name of your sponsors on it.
Yeah,
I think that would look really classy. I think that'd be the next thing I'd love to see all the politicians really repping everybody who's paying them.
Yeah. And then we could wear jackets of all of the people we're paying. So like insurance companies and like who you're really supporting.
Yeah. 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 Just
like, I'm supporting them and I'm not getting a lot back, but you know,
I want to make it clear where all my money's going. Yeah. Yeah. In theory, I'm paid by this person, and then all the money goes to all these people. I mean, the person, your employer name patch is up front, and everybody you pay your bills to is on the back.
Yeah,
your
and
mortgage company, your health insurance, the oil company you pay for. Yeah,
and those aren't taxes. Provider. Those are just things we have to pay. They're not taxes, so they're not bad. Those are the good things.
Yeah,
tax is bad, but if you pay a company, it's positive. Good.
I'm
pay the government, bad.
I want to go back
pay a company, great. That means you're working and you're.
This scares me. I want to go back to the woods of Norway and pour honey in my eyes.
So relaxing.
I want to talk about making 400-year-old mandolins with like goat gut intestine strings. And
I mean, when he was talking about making like finding. It was like finding the plans of old instruments and like making them. It's amazing. And this is what I was going to get to about the America being weird and young and whatever, is that we obviously, there were many traditions here before the Europeans came,
God. Yeah.
Right. And then the Europeans came and said, well, we're not Europeans anymore, so we're now we're Americans and we have no traditions. And so I think when you look at these places where people can go back 300, 400, 500, 600 or more years, and they actually have like traditions that have gone that long, and the songs and the poetry, and that all of these things still exist to this day. I think that there's something in that seems humbling to a person that makes them better.
They're just cool. Well, it's older, right? I mean, the idea of America being 200 years old and Norwegian culture going back, I don't know, 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Yeah.
And I mean, even, they're even like Viking settlements in Eastern Canada from however many thousands of years or hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And when I went to Scotland, which
5
years ago, right?
That's basically Norway and Sweden.
Isle of Egg. there was so much like lore and history and times that like those islands had been like conquered by the Vikings. And then
I did a quick Google search. 800 to 1050 CE is sort of when we're looking at the Viking time period.
Okay. So
what
1,000 years ago.
CE? Is that modern age?
Oh wait, yes, because BCE is before 0.
Okay, gotcha. When did CE become the new AD? I don't even know what is this. What is CE?
Atto Dominus. I don't know.
Okay.
Current era.
Current
I think
era.
It means.
Gotcha.
Current era.
I'll go with that.
It takes
I'll believe
the religious part out of it. Maybe.
Gotcha. Before Christ.
Jesus.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, good to know. But 800, yeah, so about 1,000. More than 1,000.
Yeah,
years.
Something like that. But they all had these stories, and then you could be up, and they're like, "Oh no, see that little inlet." That was actually dug out.
They used to be called the Gulf of Doug.
The Gulf of Doug.
Yeah, we just named it different. This guy, we got elected this idiot, and
it's actually the Gulf
names.
of Svet.
Yeah.
But it was dug out, and that's where the Viking ships were stored and fixed when they were like go back out to battle on the other places or whatever. But it had no water in it anymore. It was up, and it was like a full on, like a dugout area in this whole island where they used to like store the Viking ships. Yeah, there were all sorts of crazy caves and stories, and it was amazing.
I love it. Yeah, when I did some drives up through Scotland, I was shocked. I'd never thought about Scotland and the Norse and kind of Norwegian sort of mythology and the influence there. Like the towns looked very Norwegian, very Scandinavian. As you get north of there, and you look at the map and you go, "Oh, well, it's just kind of hop, skip, and a jump. It's not really that far."
Yeah, it's not that far away.
From one to an area to another, but having like written records or having impressions or some historical documentation of what that could be. It's huge. I mean, it seems like he's drawing, but I think it was also good that he made the distinction that it wasn't, a recreation, or he wasn't necessarily an academic person trying to preserve history. It was more being inspired, a modern musician trying to find inspiration and find sort of reinterpretations of traditional instruments and things. So it seems like he definitely knew what he was talking about. I was blown away. I was not expecting the conversation to go there.
Well, and that's where he made the distinction between traditional and folk, right? Like that traditional was that you're trying to preserve something that existed in the past, and that folk was that you would take those same ideas and then add a modern element to that,
right?
But still like trying to keep those ideas in line with each other.
Yeah, I just think
cool.
Yeah, I just think America really has just such a young sensibility too. That so much of what we've made is kind of in active evolution. Like the blues and folk music and a lot of these things have their roots in the short American history of 200 years. That's still relatively active. It's like you said, it hasn't really been around long enough. If we were just to think of traditional music, it'd be First Nations and Native American music. It would be something like more akin to that.
And the issue with America is that they've always come in and gone, no, we're squashing all that, or we're pretending it doesn't exist, or we're new. Everything's new.
Colonization, sort of mentality of like, whatever was here before is garbage. Here's the new thing. Everybody worship Jesus. We're good. Go forth and Jesus says it.
but
spread disease.
But what ends up happening too is that you find out that a lot of that old folk or blues traditions and all those things actually do have ties to like African music, and that they do.
Beyond colonization is also then the slave trade, which is prevalent in Western Europe and it's heavily in the Americas. You're right. Yeah.
But all that music and tradition and things, they still were kept alive. And I don't know. I think the interesting thing is like the things that always survive is, well, not always, but the things that seem to survive is art and music. right? Like the music seems to like stick around for years, and because I guess it's like an oral tradition, so it can be passed down. But then art, it's like everybody loves to find a pot buried in the, like the pottery sticks around, or a pyramid with all of the amazing drawings and what does it all mean, and the carvings, and it's like these are the things that people use to pass along ideas, whether they know it or not. I think it's like this natural human thing to kind of sing and make things and pass along ideas in these ways, I guess, because there was no way to print ideas.
You couldn't print out your Instagram feed.
Yeah.
They didn't have chatbots back then.
Yeah. I have I print out my Instagram feed every night I carve it on stone.
And then, we're good. Yeah.
And then I roll it up into a clay pot and I bury it in my yard.
With tallow. And then it's buried in my sarcophagus for when I die. I'm going to have
many likes.
My first 10 years of Instagram will go into my sarcophagus with me, will be discovered in 500 years. Like, wow, this guy really liked coffee with a weird brown filter. Was that, did he add that filter, or was that like that? Like, the other pictures don't look like that. Some photos look really beat up, and there's a lot of eggs and bacon. Huh.
The Lake Arrowhead scrolls, like 3,000 years from now, they pull it out and they're like,
this culture worshipped breakfast food.
Oh my God. They were so into food.
And bangs. A lot of eyeliner and bangs as well. Long hair in the front and a lot of heavy eyeliner. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And snowboarding.
And a lot of middle fingers. Middle fingers were presented towards other gentlemen. Other young males would present their middle finger to each other often.
This must have been how they greeted each other.
Yes.
Wow, I think the middle finger was so popular.
I think I probably have 500 pictures of Dean flipping off the camera from just years and years of tours.
Oh my God.
Or like every time I held my camera up, his middle finger would just go up.
I do love thinking of that we create this like story of humanity from so little that they find.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like literally, like you could dig up something in like Hesperia and you could completely miss Los Angeles, right? Because you're like 70 miles away. And you're out in the desert and you pick up this thing in Hesperia and like, this is what these people were like, and it could be like a boot spur or something. I don't know what it would be, or a rake or something. Yeah. And it'd be like, this must have been how they.
Was this a fertility god? This was part of their.
We call this the fertility spears. Yeah. Multiple fertility spears, they just completely miss Los Angeles.
It brings up two ideas. What the first is, I've seen these videos or these drawings of like, weird animals, like based on like the skeleton of a horse. If you were to apply the type of like future casting or past, imagining what it would look like if you just found the skeleton of a horse, it would look like this crazy creature with like purple feathers and blue wings or whatever, right. This kind of looks completely insane. And that's sort of what the traditional or paleontologists or predictions in the past would have been of like, here's how a dinosaur bone goes together. And we made them look like these crazy monsters. And it's like, well, you could just turn anything into a crazy monster if you just have the bones. Like if you're looking for a monster, you can just make anything into a monster, but really that's just a chicken or something. Yeah. It could be something probably a lot more boring. It's never that exciting. But the other thing also reminded me of was I thought about this a lot in my deep love and appreciation of Star Wars myth and lore and mythology and storytelling. The one thing I would love to see as things before, I really loved the Skeleton Crew, the new like kids live action, the latest bit of Star Wars lore that's been established into the new canon. But one thing that got me thinking about is it's always bugged me in Star Wars when they go to a planet, they go to a whole planet and they go to one place and they're like, yeah, this is the whole planet. It's this one place. And then when they tell the production, like Hoth, for example, it's the ice planet. The whole planet's made up of ice. And then they talk about the production of it, like, well, where'd you shoot this? Well, we shot it in Norway. And it's like, okay, so the same planet that we live on that has, probably 180 different specific microclimates and biomes, you go to, and now that we're in this science fiction world where you could travel light speed across, millions of galaxies and universes, huge, unending sprawl of things. You land on one planet and go to one place. And the whole planet is just like this. It's like, just like the one place we've been. It's like, well, did you ever think the other side of Hoth? Like maybe if you would have travel, I don't know, like 2,000 miles towards the equator, like maybe that wouldn't be ice. Like, there really is no there's never been any conversations about microclimates or just other climates, other areas on any other planet. Well, this is the swamp planet. This is the desert planet. This is this planet. Funny. And
I've never thought about that. Yeah. Yeah. The warm side of Hoth.
Well, this must be the water planet. This is this planet. This is like, but when I would have to imagine there would be other places because, where it's, I don't know. That's what I often think about these things. I find myself keeping myself up at night. So I would love to see a thing where they go to a planet and then someone goes to another part of a planet and they're like, we're both at that planet at the same time. I'm like, yeah, but we didn't even bump into each other. It's like, yeah, because it's a huge planet.
Because it's massive.
Yeah. Just because if two people went to the same planet and they happen to meet there, it's like, that is very, very specific. I mean, I live in the same city. I would live within probably a half hour of 40,000 people and I never bump into anybody. I live 5 minutes down the road from someone. I'll never bump into them. But these two different spaceships fly across the galaxy, for light years, light speed jump to these places and get on to the exact location of some other planet.
They land in the same spot.
Oh, they're chasing us. Now we're over here. We gotta keep bouncing around. I believe their accurate, their GPS accuracy, I'm sure, is much more improved. I'll give them that.
It is in the future.
I will give them some of that. But however, I would love to just say everyone goes to this part of the planet. Why don't we just hide out on the other side of the planet? No one ever goes there. Like, what?
But there's a reason.
Yeah.
No one ever goes there.
It's like,
we don't know that reason though. Well, I've always thought it was weird too, that almost all of the future movies, there's futuristic things happening, but then everybody is also having a really hard time or is really poor or is like trying to recycling is a big thing. Like people scrapping is a big thing. It almost always is.
Yeah.
In all of these
pirates,
we're just
scrappers.
Pirates and, so it really
Junk
is
traders.
always is what we romanticize the past, like 100 years ago or 200 years ago. It's like that. It's like kingdoms, pirates, all of that, but just in spaceships. But it doesn't make sense that if you had all of that technology to make all those spaceships to fly anywhere you wanted to go, that you would also just need to scrap metal by hand
right
to fix your spaceships.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I've never lived in the future, so maybe it could be
something as boring as that. Yeah. No, I think, the Star Trek universe is as little as I know about it. I'm not a Trekkie, but that's the one thing I think they sort of started off the premise in a different way where it's like, yes, it's a utopia, to sort of set it aside from, or at least as a scene setting scenario where the Federation and everyone, they're on peacekeeping missions, but really it's rarely war has been, there's no need for war. There's abundance. There's no need for really jobs. These are people who are exploring the galaxy for, altruistic reasons. That sort of seems to be the general principle. And then every episode, there is some kind of conflict, or every season there will be some kind of battle that has to take place.
Someone beams onto the ship
as they encounter new species. But that's really the thing there's relative peace within the Star Wars lore. Right. There'll be the big battle that affects maybe 100 people, but within all of these species and planets and alien types, you never really get the backstory there. That people pretty much get along. They all figure out how to sit in a bar and listen to some jizz music being played by the band and have some drinks, and they're just like, yeah, it's fine. We don't all hate each other. Maybe they hate the droids. They won't let the droids come in, but for more or less, they all kind of get along.
I mean, I feel like the world is, well, I don't know. Most of the world is pretty much like that. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're the majority of the people that get along, and it's mostly just the people at the top who are trying to either
create the wars,
get people to fight against each other so they can take all the stuff.
Rename.
And it's pretty much
land masses.
Rename land masses are the ones that kind of start everything. And then, but if you don't even think about them and just go about your daily business, for the most part, like the fact that we don't just get in fights at the grocery store when there's like 200 people there.
It's true.
People just kind of wait in line. I'm like, well, I got here 5th, so I'm 5th in line. And there's not like, how can I get first in line? I got to get out of here. You know what? I have a machete. Like the fact that just doesn't happen almost ever. It shows that I think for the most part, humans are are ready for kindness. And we're also just all gullible, and we don't want to deal with a lot of any extra stress. Most people don't want to deal with any extra stress.
Tell me if you can relate to this. Maybe okay. I was crazy. I think I've come to peace with this, but there was a time about 2 years ago, I think it was a version of COVID going on, and I went to the grocery store, and it was the kind of thing where there's only like 2 lanes open and they were backed up. And so I'm like back into an aisle, where it wasn't just like you couldn't wait in the line. They like had now gone past that little zone, and now I'm back in like the frozen food area, and I'm waiting and going up there. And then they'd opened another lane, and some people went to that one and other people went to that one, but it was still just kind of one line. And I was going to be the next one in line. There's people behind me. And then a new guy comes up and he's like, "Which lane are you waiting in?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I was just going to kind of wait to see which one opened up next and go to that one. They just opened this one." He's like, "That's not how this works. You got to pick a line, one or the other." And there's people behind me too. And they all kind of looked at me like I was a jerk or something. Like I was like holding up the line. I'm like, I don't know. I hadn't really thought this one out. I was kind of looking at my phone and wasn't really paying attention. I probably had a podcast going in my ear. I was looking at Instagram, and then I'm just like shopping and have a mask on and just like, this is terrible. But then I was like, I don't know. I was kind of doing that. I'm just kind of freewheeling here. I don't really have a plan. I don't know. I'm just going to see whatever happened.
Looks like that would be the most. I mean, honestly, that's probably the most beneficial way for everybody to be like, okay, which one opens up, and then you just go in the next one.
We'll all just get in one line, and then just as it goes, like, okay, just feed it all into that. Like at this point, there's enough people.
But also, if there was just a person there going, "Oh no, he's right. I'm going to direct you to which line," they would go, "Oh, good."
Somebody who worked there.
Tell me. Yeah. If you tell me where you need me to be, then I'm fine. If I have to make the decision and wait for people in front of me, and there's not like a clear set of rules.
Like we were going to start 2 different lines blocking up both sides of the frozen food zone. Like now we're kind of all the way like back into the frozen food zone, but now there was going to be 2 of those because they opened one next. I don't know. I was really confused. But there's enough. But it was the kind of thing, and these like that doesn't happen that way. I'm like, And again, one of those kind of questions, like a Trump question, like, I guess it doesn't happen that way, or maybe it does. I don't really know. I've never really there's no clear line. I'm kind of using the blinking red light, sort of thing. Like, I don't know if everybody just takes their turn here, we'll just treat it all like a stoplight. I don't know. Yeah. This is too crowded. This is too congested. Just give everybody the right of like you go, like one person go this way, one person go that way kind of thing. But there was nowhere it was so crowded. It was just that feeling. It was like, it's so crowded. We're so stressed. Like I can't really I'm not really trying to dick over the person with the cart next to me, or that's how more what it felt like. He's like, well, and it was like, he was him coming up and saying, well, now I'm going to go ahead and just cut behind all the people who are behind me. Like if anything, they should go up front. He should get in the back of all those people, because we've already been waiting anyway. I couldn't really figure it out, and no one really knew what to do. And so I was like, I don't know. I guess I'm just waiting for this one. So then he just like stood next to me for the other one, and it didn't feel good about it. I didn't like how it went, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know.
Like, I don't know what.
I wasn't planning for this when I came in to get the ketchup and Fruit Loops today. I was not thinking that's what was.
You're like, so you just want to go in front of me?
Is that what you're asking?
Because I only have 2 things, and
it does. Yeah,
I got plenty of time.
I love doing that. Yeah, the guy with like the handle of vodka and some orange juice, and then maybe some eggs or hot dogs or bologna or something. I was like, just go ahead. I have I'm buying.
Did my good deed for the day.
Sure, yeah.
Let that guy get to his bottle of vodka as quick as possible. You obviously need that more than I do, sir. Yeah. Get in front of me. Yeah, you're good.
But then they have now all the self-checkout things. How do you do with the self-checkouts? Do you choose the self-checkout ever?
I was just talking about this the other day. This is what people in their 40s talk about.
Yep.
I feel conflicted because I don't necessarily want to go into a store and converse with anybody, especially if I have like two things and I'm like, I know exactly what I need, like a CVS.
CVS is
exactly
great.
What I need.
In out.
You get your receipt printed out always at CVS, so you get like the 20-foot long.
It's a mile
receipt.
long. Yep.
Oh, I love it.
Your Pepto-Bismol and like some Band-Aids or some Tylenol for.
And I'm like, I could save $78 the next time I come in here. And then, so there is that part where I'm like, I just want to go up to the thing, swipe it, put my card in, and leave. But it really has ruined so many things. So we were even in like now, and I'm sounding like the old like grandma is like, I don't trust those things, but it's not that I don't trust them, but that we went snowboarding last weekend at Big Bear, and Big Bear is purchased by a company that also owns Mammoth and Summit and Snow Valley. Maybe one other place, but they own a
These are like ski lifts and run places for people who don't know. Ski areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ski areas in California. And so they've been like slowly updating things with new chairlifts and stuff. But when we went in to get lunch and we were buying like burgers or whatever, they now have the regular, the woman who's at the checkout. So you walk through and it's a regular, you put your food, you have a tray. It's very old school. Mm-hmm. Like the way ski areas have done it for like every ski area for like 50 years.
For cafeteria.
It's total cafeteria style. You just go, there's always someone at the cashier, and this was like, no, you put your stuff and they all have little stickers on them. And then you put them on, and this computer is up above it, and it scans the stickers and at the size of the thing. And then it's like, you have this much stuff. And then it was like, oh, well, it didn't get the soda or whatever. And then so you had to like take the thing out and then put the soda in. And then there was a woman who was there like helping. And she's like, oh, well, sometimes you have to. And so the line,
much work to make it easy.
There's like 3 of these machines or 4 or something.
Yeah, and they don't work.
But I'm like, well, there's never really been a big issue with standing in line too long at this ski area. They have like 7 different places where you can get food. You can like get food outside. You can get food at the bar. There's like a taco bar on the other side. So it's not even an issue. And then, but we went through it, and then I was like, oh, there's the lady. I'm like, you know what? I'm never doing this again. I am now going to only go to the lady who's working the cashier. Mm-hmm. Because it's way easier. And I do actually, I'm putting it in my brain. I'm like, you know what? I do want to have conversations with the cashier every time I go to the store now, if I have the chance. That's my new goal for 2025. Yeah. Because you just look at it and like for all of the talking and everything else, I'm like, and the AI and the, oh my God, everything. It's like that is like probably those self-checkouts have taken more jobs from lower income people than anything. Like directly, where you can just look at it and go, just hire someone.
There should be 7 people here. There's 2 people here.
This computer system must cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to run and fix and all of that to buy it. And you have to update the software and you have to have a person come in and fix it. I'm sure from the company, you're probably even leasing it. It probably costs more than having a person just be there. Like even when I have to go get stuff. Hey, there's cheap gas. I know where all the cheap gas is now. So when I go take Towns to soccer practice, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the cheap gas that's right next to Walmart. And then sometimes I go into the Walmart, and the Walmart has, sorry, my cat just jumped up. You can see Leo here.
Oh, hello.
He's like, yeah, he was talking about Walmart. Huh? I'll tell you a little bit about Walmart. But that there's like 10 self-checks, right? And then there's a bunch of people running the cashiers. But the self-check, there's always like 2 of them open, and then no one can run them. And then and the only line in Walmart is for the self-checkout, and it's like into the clothing section. I'm like, this doesn't need to be here. Just hire 2 more people, because you have 2 people that are trying to help everybody there, and everybody's confused.
Yeah, everyone needs help.
Buy like 78-inch TVs through the self-checkout, and they can't pick it up to like scan the thing, and the cord thing won't, like the scanner won't go far enough. And I'm like, this is a nightmare.
This isn't working. Yeah.
This isn't working.
When are we just going to say this isn't working?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
but that's what I feel like.
Yeah. That's CVS, I like, if you're, a pack of bubble gum and a thing of Advil or something, easy.
Yeah.
Something about the grocery store, it bothers me. Even if I'm only getting like, bananas, because then you got to look up the picture of the bananas and you got to put the thing on there, and you're like, is that really how much they weigh? Do I trust this thing here? Why am I weighing this? It doesn't seem right. Is that the wrong kind of banana? I think that's expensive bananas. Is there cheaper bananas?
And there's a person that's been trained for years that knows all the codes. I love that.
Oh, right.
When you have before they used to like scan the apples and stuff, and you just like, there'd be the person that has worked there for
just
10
knows
years,
everything, like,
and they're just like
cucumbers.
They're like
cucumber
an
code. Yeah.
Yeah. All you hear is and they're not even looking at what it is, and they just know all the codes. They're like 040 422 333.
Yep.
What
about bags? Do you bring your own bags grocery shopping?
God, I wish I could remember to bring my own bags. That's like my Achilles heel.
I've gotten good at that. Shan and I, we keep like 3 or 4 like totes with totes inside of them. So we have like the stash. So before we go into the store, we take the stash.
And you remember to grab them out of the car?
I'm pretty good at it. I've trained myself to be good at that one. That's the one thing else. And I don't mind that. I'm down with that one. The self-checkout I'm not down with, but the bring your own bags, I'm cool with that. That I think I can do.
I need to do I need to get hypnotized to like the way that you would quit smoking, but I would get hypnotized to remember to bring extra bags to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Because I'll even have like a bag of 15 like plastic bags in my car.
In the car.
And I'll do the whole shopping and everything, and I get to the thing and I'm like, I forgot again. I don't know what it is. I need to be hypnotized.
I've gotten good at doing that one. Now the other part of grocery shopping, I did do some grocery shopping today for the week. Do you and your wife have a list like on the phone, or is there a paper list you write down? Is there communication about what needs to get got, and how do you do that?
Yeah, she usually sends me the list.
She'll text it to you?
Yeah, text.
So you get a big text with everything in there.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I do a screenshot.
Oh, okay. Screenshot of the text.
There. Yep.
I usually put it on the bags. That's what I remember. I put the phone on my pile of bags, like in the little baby chair part of it, the little shelf. I always put the bags there, and then I have the phone in front of me there.
Oh, see, but you still have baby chairs in there. So you can put the bags in the baby chair, and you're so ingrained to be like, every time you close the door, like, make sure there's no kids back there. And you're like, oh, my bags. Right. I remember my bags.
Yeah. You got to get the bags.
Right.
Yeah. So we do that. So I do that. But what we've done is the Notes app in the iPhone, you can have a shared Notes app with bulletins with like a little checklist. And so you can check stuff off, and then you can uncheck it when you get for the next week. So when you go through and like, you're going to put stuff back on the list, you just uncheck the shared list. We have a Ralph's one, and we have a Trader Joe's one, and a Costco one. But Shan never puts anything on the Costco one. I just put the Costco one.
That's amazing.
I gotta say, if you're wondering, or if you're looking for new ways to go in the shared Notes app, like you just make a note in your notes, and then you can share it with somebody, and you guys both own it, and you can both edit it. And then throughout the day, as you're going through, and then once you've kind of put your basics on there within the first month, you kind of know, and then you can just go down. The hardest part though is scrolling all the way down to the bottom to put jelly on it or whatever the thing you don't always get, rather than just putting a new jelly just right at the top, just typing it in. versus finding the old ones. So I'll go back and try to edit out the old ones after a while. Like,
right.
Why did we need, what was on there? Like, sugar cookie dough. I'm like, I'm not going to only do that one time. Why is that?
Get it out of here.
Deleting that one. Yeah.
That's funny.
So that's become our pattern, and it's working out okay. I have to say it's pretty good, but I do have to synchronize the notes app before I leave. I do check like, okay, wait, did we sync it? You kind of turn it off, open it back up, make sure I get all the new stuff she put up, because I've gone there and it's like nothing's on there.
Oh,
but Shannon's the kind of person too, where she's nice enough where she'll write out the whole thing. If it's like a French baguette, from the bakery, she'll say it's the one in the white sleeve with the La Brea bakery one with the seeds on it, or the thing, and she'll put a whole descriptor in there if she can. That helps. I got lucky. I got lucky with her. You're
shopping.
Sure, yeah.
Shopping with shopping in your 40s with Randy Randall.
She makes it easy on me to go shopping in my 40s.
That makes me think app-wise. It makes me think that I can probably set my location that every time that I go into the Stater Brothers parking lot, that my phone will ding that will say, "Bring your bags."
Oh, that's a good idea. Probably set a little reminder, proximity reminder.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah. I think it's
I'm going to try that probably a month from now when I remember to actually do that.
To remember to do the thing, And then
my phone.
What about calendars? Do you guys have shared calendars?
No.
Do you know about these things in the calendar app on the phone?
Yeah.
I've benefited so greatly from that. Like, I would not know anything going on in my life. I have one.
Do you set up like so it actually dings to tell you stuff, or you actually look at your calendar?
I don't set up the dings. Shannon and I have a thing we call playing the calendar game.
Okay.
We're probably not to be too personal, too TMI, but we'll probably play the calendar game later tonight. Sunday night's usually a good time for the
TMI, Randy.
So you go through.
This podcast is crazy.
Get the kids to bed, turn on some smooth jazz music, light a candle, get into bed, and then we both look at our calendar apps together. We show each other's calendar apps, and then we go, "Oh yeah, okay." So this week, right? Okay, the kids got they got a dentist appointment here. Okay, yeah, okay, right. And you got a work call there. You're doing that one. Okay. Like, you're picking up the kids, or I'm picking up the kids. Oh, who's okay? We make sure all of our calendars are working. If there's anything big coming up, and then maybe even go into the next weekend. It's like, oh yeah, right. And we got the soccer game or the thing or the party at the place next week. So it's just kind of just talk through it. And if I'm like, oh, I don't see it on here, we didn't put it on this. Like, oh, I forgot to. She put on her personal calendar, but we didn't put on the shared calendar. So she'll make sure we'll go out and I'll ask about something, or she'll ask about something, and it's pretty good. But it's a lot. But it's also becomes like strategy, because whoever gets their event on the calendar first kind of owns that night. We try not to be too Star Wars about, try not to get too aggressive about it. You know what I mean? If something comes up, we try to, but if you get your stuff on the calendar, hey, that's my night. It's like Shannon does a lot of roller skating class.
The other side of Hoth, Randy. What are you planning?
Just wanted to let you know. Yeah, I got a thing going on there. Or I'll put shows I want to go to. Like so and so band is playing at so and so venue, and then she'll, it's usually 3 months in advance or something, and she's like, "Are you going to that thing?" And I'm like, I wanted to. I wrote it there. I didn't buy tickets. I'll see how I feel. I'll see if the kids are bothering me. If I can figure out a way to get out of the house, or if the kids are screaming.
I'll make a last minute judgment on that.
Yeah. But I'll write that kind of stuff down. It does help. And it helps so we can share, because even her asking me about it, I'm like, I should go. You're right. I should. Or vice versa. If she has something with her girlfriends, or doing something she wants to go to or see, or, it's like, yeah, go do it. We can encourage each other. Like, you wrote it down there. You must want to do it if you put it on the thing.
Yeah. Once you write it down, it's like, it's kind of started just a little bit. Once you've written it down,
taking your first step into committing to leaving the house. But first thing you do is put on the calendar.
Like, I don't want to leave. And you must leave, Randy. No, I don't want to leave.
You'll like it. You'll have fun. Like,
don't make me leave.
I got to pay for parking.
I have to drive there. I have to put pants on.
Oh my God. The worst one was during COVID. I bought tickets to go see a comedy show at Largo. I feel very fortunate to live close enough to LA and to all the stuff that, we do things like that. When you're younger, no big deal. You go out, it's fun. But now it's like, okay, I still hip. I see a comedian I like on social media. I want to go support them. I want to go see a comedian. That sounds like fun. And then Shanto's like, well, get 2 tickets. Don't be a weirdo and just go to a comedy show by yourself. Get $2. Oh yeah. Okay. I guess that sounds normal. So I buy 2 tickets, and then I invited somebody, and then they couldn't go because they hurt their foot that morning. They were out running and they hurt their ankle. And I was like, fuck. So now I'm $100 in for this thing.
You're like, what's a comedy show have to do with your ankle, by the way?
Yeah. I'll pick you up. You don't even have to go. We'll park out front. And then, so I went by myself and I had an empty seat next to me, in the first 3 rows. And I told the people at the door, I'm like, hey, this person, they couldn't come. Like, I don't even care about getting my money back. I just feel bad if, if it's a sold out show and I'm just going to have an empty chair. I think that looks bad,
Yeah.
Didn't work. Nobody needed a single ticket. So I just ate it and just sat through the thing, and it was fine. It was funny, but I just felt bad
between 2 chairs.
I just felt bad with the whole thing. Really, it was those kind of events now in my 40s. I was like, I'm not going anywhere.
It's hard, man.
I'm gonna spend $100, feel awkward, feel weird, and just go there and spend another $20 on parking, and then $10 on a Diet Coke. I was like, fuck.
What do you think that was? Because before kids and being younger, you go out to a show, I feel like there was some kind of I don't know, I might get something out of this, or I might there was a little bit more thought of that this might affect my life in some way. I don't know. Being younger, I just feel like being so excited to get to a show and just
social opportunities.
I don't know what this is going to be.
Get involved in something.
Yeah, and then now it is going to a thing, and it's strictly just all right, I'm here to be entertained. And then I realized
you're going for the reason that was sold on the ticket. I'm going to see this band. I'm here to see this band. I'm here when they start playing music, I'm happy. And then when they end playing music, I am done being happy and I will leave now. There was no other ulterior motives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think being younger too, it's even when I would see a band, it would be so I would get really excited to play music, or I would get really
inspired.
Oh my God, super inspired to do something else. And now I feel when I go, it's it's for entertainment. And then I'm I don't think I like being entertained. And that's not it's a joke. I don't like sitting and just being hey, entertain me. I'm I don't know, someone else should have this seat. This is cool. Even when the best thing that Michelle and I went to, she got tickets to this, big thing at the Hollywood Bowl that was it was to raise money.
Oh yeah,
for something. It was Will Ferrell
but you say Hollywood Bowl, I'm already out. I'm already no, the
Jack
parking.
Black and Snoop came out.
Oh, you told me this. Yeah,
did a thing and what's his name from oh my God, my brain is fried. Anyway, Fleetwood Mac from who's the guitar player from Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah,
the main guy.
Yeah,
he did this amazing solo. I mean, it was unreal, and it was 2.5 hours. But there was so much going on, and there was a couple comedians just bombed, and I was so uncomfortable that I don't even have to go to the bathroom. I'm leaving to go to the bathroom until this person's over. This is so bad. And
that's amazing.
But there was entertaining parts, and then it was it was over at 9 or whatever time Hollywood Bowl gets over. It's pretty early, and I was okay, that was good. I could take that. I don't think I could barely watch a whole set anymore without just feeling I don't know. I love this. I think I've seen all the bands I wanted to see anyway.
You're lucky. Right? Yeah, maybe that's it.
Very fortunate to have been yeah, I've seen Sonic Youth a couple times. I've now seen Pavement. I've
Built to Spill
Modest a couple
Mouse.
times. I saw Modest Mouse a couple times. I've seen I saw DOS Effects. I've seen Cool Keith. I've seen all the weird rap, a bunch of bands I've never even heard of. I couldn't tell you their names that were amazing shows. I've been to the Smell a bunch of times. I've been to the Echo. You've done all of those things. And I'm I don't know who I've seen Unwound. So I've saw I was just thinking of these the other day. And then I was I think I saw all the shows I wanted to see. I love new music. I love listening to new music. I don't think I want to go to a concert. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. That's why tickets cost $75.
Yeah. Although Violent Femmes, we did go to see Violent Femmes recently, and that was awesome.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just old and curmudgeon-y. Maybe just right now I don't feel like leaving the house.
Right. It's cold. It's cold outside.
It is. It snowed today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Last week we were in like fire warning, like our power was off and it was so windy.
It was so dry.
And it was dry and hot. And today it snowed 4 inches. So
Southern California.
Well, maybe that's why. Maybe my brain is just like, can we just stop?
Enough of this. Enough of this shit.
Stay at home. Chill out. Stop worrying about what's outside the house. Stay inside the house. Be safe. Just be on your computer. It's fine.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
Our bones do get more brittle as we age. Maybe that's just our own. It's just our mental capacity catching up with it. Like, the more times you leave the soft things in your house, the more likely you are of breaking any of those bones.
No mosh pit, no shows.
Yeah, that's it.
That's my rule.
Yeah, no comedy. You might actually pee your pants. You might have some kind of like incontinence.
Oh.
All right. Well, this is good. I think we did it. Go out and support your local. Go out and support your local musicians. Go to venues.
Especially if you're young.
If you are not, if you're not in your 40s, you have an obligation to go experience live music and art and culture.
And if you're after in your 40s,
you get a pass. It's okay. We get it.
Well, use Randy's
$20
suggestion and give an artist or musician $20. It's honestly, it's probably better than going to their show.
You'd be happier.
For them.
The musician would be happier and you'd be happier. You didn't even have to go to the show. Your feet don't hurt. You didn't have to, wait in line for a bathroom.
They don't have to split that with a promoter or like a 360 deal or whatever. It's like $20 in hand.
It's a win-win situation. If you're over 40, just give out those $20 bills. Have them ready. Anybody with a guitar, tambourine, mic stand, kick drum, just give them $20. They'll be so happy. You did.
That's it.
All right. Well, I will see you next week. Be well. I think I have our elusive fifth week guest on Video Game Month.
Really? You found one?
I think I have it. We were supposed to be recording on Tuesday. Excited. So we'll see. We'll see whatever show goes up on Thursday morning. We'll see if it's happened or not. I don't want to ruin it.
I want it to just pop up.
The name could rhyme with Barrio. The Booper Barrio mothers may be coming on the cast.
Okay.
It could rhyme with that. I don't want to, it's a big get in the video game community, I'm told. I'm told. It could be somebody like that, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up.
Someone flying in on an ostrich, like Joust.
It could be on the Rainbow Road right now, riding in. Yes. All right, man. All right. Take care. Let's see. Have a good one. Bye.